Welcome to TPA Talks. Today I am interviewing Rashid Williams. My name is Cameron.
My name is Serenity.
Today we're going to be talking about the Durkeeville area. Tell us about yourself.
Sure, thank you. So Rashid Williams, I am the schools lead for Blue Zones Project Jacksonville. I've been in Jacksonville now for 10 years, originally born and raised in Miami, Florida. In Florida, born and raised. I've been an educator before joining Blue Zones for 13 years and worked in schools here within Jacksonville. In fact, was at Valor Academy of Leadership, which was a all boys school leadership program on Sutel. And so been in the area working in schools, and then joined the KIP, Jacksonville Public Schools Network, and served in their KIP Forward program for the past 7 years prior to joining Blue Zones. And so education has been a part of my life. It's something I love, helping young people, pouring into them. It was only natural to join Blue Zones as the schools lead and kind of help work with schools to improve the health and well-being for our young people within our schools.
Can you tell us about the Blue Zones project?
Sure. So the Blue Zones Project is a community-wide health and well-being initiative that came to Jacksonville in 2002, really. It started before then, but then COVID kind of interrupted some of the plans. But we really got rolling in 2022, and then really hit the ground last year with our kickoff in July at the fairgrounds downtown. And it was a great event. We had over 2,000 people attend and celebrate our kickoff with us. And so now we are literally doing what we call our transformation period, where we're working with the community to improve the health and well-being of our city, to make the healthy choice the easy choice. We believe that our job is to empower everyone everywhere to live better and longer. And so what does that look like? Well, we believe it happens in three ways: people, policy, and places. So if we think about places, most of us spend over 90% of our time within a 20-mile radius of our home. That includes work sites, grocery stores, our schools, work sites for the adults, as well as when we think about our faith-based institutions, right? So the question we always ask is, how can we help those places to prioritize health and well-being for our community residents, right? So in a grocery store, we all go through the checkout line and we see all those great snacks on the side, right? I love Snickers, love Reese's Pieces. In fact, Butterfingers is my number one. But at my age now, at 44, don't need to eat Butterfingers every time I go in the store. So would love to have some more wholesome foods to check out, right? Nuts, granola bars, possibly some water versus soda, right? And lowering that sugar intake. So that would be a great opportunity. So we work with grocery stores to make those express lines a lot more healthier. In my lane with schools, we know you guys have to eat lunch, breakfast, and at lunchtime, we're saying, hey, are those options the most healthiest for our young people, to make sure they're healthy? We know our school, Duval County Public Schools, does a great job actually providing healthy meals as much as possible. And they've cut out a lot of the things that, we enjoy. Like I said, those sweet and sugary things, they've cut that out and literally said, part of their Smart Snacks program is making sure you all are eating more fruits, more whole grain items, right? And so we work with schools to really just amplify that. And the same is happening in work sites. Instead of having a vending machine that has all those bad things, hey, let's provide some more healthy options to the people that are working in those places. And so in policy, we look at our community and say, are the streets walkable? Are they bikeable, right? We know in Jacksonville, unfortunately, pedestrian deaths are at an all-time high, and we don't want that to be the case, right? So we want to make sure that our young people have safe places to be able to walk and ride their bikes without getting injured. And so we also look at, hey, where are the areas where we can increase roundabouts so we can slow down traffic so that we don't have people speeding around, right? And on this other side of that, when we think about people, how do we engage our community through faith-based organizations, civic and social organizations as well, and say, hey, your organization can come and join this work with us at Blue Zones and prioritize health when you all are prioritizing any of your projects or community service events or anything that you're literally trying to move the needle on here in Jacksonville.
Why was Durkeeville picked for this project?
There were community members already doing some great work in the Durkeeville area. And so part of our project, we target the 32206, 32208, 32209, and 32210. And 32244 areas. We intentionally picked those target zip codes because we recognize there's such rich history in those communities as well as great strengths. And we said, well, how do we partner with these community members to highlight those things that are happening and to help them? We know food deserts, unfortunately, are a reality in some of those target zip codes as well. And we say, you know what, if we're going to empower people to live better and longer, let's start where that need is most needed, and literally partner with them and say, hey, we don't see you guys as a deficit. We see the strengths that are going on in your community. So let's partner with you to amplify that. And so Durkeeville, when I moved here in 2014, literally one of the first neighborhoods I heard about was Durkeeville. And I've had opportunity to be in that area in different ways as a community member. And I've said, you know what, hey, I want to join some of the people who are already doing great work in this community, like the Youth Action Series, Unified Community Investors, and say, hey, how can I come along you all with Blue Zones and support the work that you're doing?
Can you tell us about the Blueprint Youth for Change Summit?
Sure. The Blueprint Youth for Change Summit is an event that's coming up on March 16th. Before I talk about that, I can't skip the actual mural unveiling that's taking place on the 15th at Pascal Brothers Hardware and Lumber. That evening is going to be from 6 to 8. The young people here at the Performers Academy, as well as at JAMS, Jacksonville Arts and Music School, have done some great work along some artists in our city who have done murals, along with Hearts for Minds, which is a program that focuses on mental health and has really been putting a lot of the murals we see around our city with the dragonflies around and the handprints. So these three organizations came together and they actually said, hey, we would love for Blue Zones to come join us, along with the Unified Community Investors Youth Action Series. And they said, hey, we want to promote this event on Friday to show the history of Durkeeville on this wall. Some key figures will be speaking that night who actually have done the work to preserve and amplify the Durkeeville community, and we want to be there to celebrate with them as we do this work. And then that leads to that Saturday, we want to focus on you all, the youth. We recognize you all as the change makers in our city. The reality is, when I grew up, a lot of people didn't give me a lot of opportunities to really become a leader and a voice in my community. And so we recognize that we can't do that any longer with you all. You all are far more advanced in your tech. You're more tech savvy than most of the adults in the room. And you guys have a lot to say and a lot to offer. And so that Youth for Change Summit is really, we recognize since COVID, mental health has been a big issue for our young people. It's been a big issue for adults as well, right? And so we said, hey, let's come together and create an event where the voices of our young people are heard around the issues that are concerning them, and provide them with the resources, some organizations, and some coping skills in different ways they can actually deal with mental health. But not only stopping there, their physical health and their overall social and well-being as well. And so that event will have breakout sessions throughout the day. We'll have some of the sessions are jiu-jitsu and learning how to literally use that as a way of physically moving and getting stress out. Boxing, there's another breakout session that's going to be around video gaming. And I don't know about you all, when I played video games as a kid, it got a little tense sometimes with me and my friends, right? So learning how to keep that frustration down, but also learning how to just use it as a time to socialize. And some other great events, great breakout sessions will be happening as well.
Who all is involved in this effort?
Sure. Again, Unified Community Investors. It will also be Youth Action Series at the Hearts for Minds, the Performers Academy. I'm thinking of one, JAMS, again, Jacksonville Arts and Music School. And on that Saturday, we have a number of other community organizations like the Hanley Foundation, as well as Blue Zones. We'll also have Tobacco Free Jacksonville, talking about, vaping and how that impacts our young people mental health. We know that's a major issue in our community. We also have, again, organizations that are coming in and teaching you all how to use art therapy as a way of dealing with some of your stress. We got spoken word going on that day as well. Gardening. I know as a kid, I didn't really have a green thumb. But now as an adult, I realize sometimes when I'm out in my yard tilling in the soil, it's a great way for me to kind of break away from things and just kind of focus on creating something that's growing. So those are some of the organizations that'll be doing some of those events again.
What type of, if you're are you doing gardening there? What type of seeds or plants that you are using?
Great question. Our community member, Miss Sylvia, is going to be there. Literally, she's going to have fruits, herbs, vegetables as a part of it, and she's going to teach you all how to create these. Essentially, I forgot how she said it, but it's not like you can create these gardens out of the ground. You don't have to have them in the ground. You can have them pottery gardens. That's what she called them. And so she's going to teach you guys how to do that, and you can literally take the pots that you all create at this event home with you all and maintain them and see what comes out of it. So great question, Cam. Thank you.
What's special about Durkeeville?
Man, what's special about Durkeeville? I think there's a lot that's special about Durkeeville, right? You have this rich history that speaks about just, the great things that people have done in that community that have literally goes back to before the civil rights movement, right? That was an area where you've seen a lot of the prominent figures within that community, especially within the black community. That's where they live. That's where they set up businesses. That's where they created, like, literally a community that thrived together. And unfortunately, we know as cities evolve, sometimes we see people move from out of the city and go to suburbs. And some of that rich history is left with it. But we still have people who are still there, who are still members who created that rich history, who are saying, hey, we want to still remain here. But while we're here, we want to also bring in fresh businesses. We want our young people to feel like this is their community as well. And so for me, I'm a big history buff. I love studying cities when I go to them, and I had opportunity again to learn so much about Durkeeville, and I'm just impressed by, again, the history and just want to preserve it, right? And so I think through this work we're doing for this summit as well as for the mural, we want to say, hey, as Jacksonville grows and evolves with all the things that are going down downtown, we want to preserve this community and want it to grow at the same time as the city.
Question?
Yes, you can.
You were talking about Jacksonville, like, growing and evolving. Mm-hmm. When you see that happen, did it inspire you to, like, want to make that more of a big thing that's going around?
Oh, yes.
To, like, inspire people to do things to help their home and, where they come from, and, to be more grateful of that and more mindful? I
do. Thank you for asking that. I really do, because I as I've been here now, I told my wife, I really don't see us leaving Jacksonville anytime soon. This is home for us now. My in-laws live here. My brother and his family lives here. And so for us, it's been a joy to really become a part of this community and literally, like, say, hey, you know what? Duval is home now. And so I definitely want to see people take that same pride. And that's part of what we do through our project is we want to, again, let's highlight the strengths that are in our community. Too many times when we see people come in the community, they want to look at, well, what do we need to change or what's the deficit? From our project mindset, there are no deficits. There are too many strengths in our community. There's great communities that just need to be highlighted and poured into. And that also means empowering our residents to just know that, hey, you have a part in this and you have a voice.
So when you was a child, did you see this in your future, or, like, was this your dream?
Oh, man, Kim, what a great question. It's funny you asked that. I always was intrigued by real estate. Before I became a teacher, I was a realtor, and I went to Florida State University and majored in marketing and real estate. So when I first graduated, I went into real estate as a realtor, sold homes, wanted to help people, experience the dream of owning a home. And I always thought about it as, if people have homes that they're passionate about and they're happy about, what happens is you see communities become neighborhoods, right? And neighborhoods become a city, right? And so my mind has always been like, how can I make that a reality? So then when I went in education, my thought was, how do I empower young people like yourselves to become who you really want to be, not what we think you should be, right? A lot of times we ask y'all, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? It should be whatever you desire, right? If it's being a podcast expert, right? If it's being a poet, we should literally empower you all to do that. And then you'll give back to your community in a way, become homeowners, become members who are civically engaged and involved, and make the city better. So we want to retain our talent here in Jacksonville. We don't want to see you all leave. We want to see you all stay and see yourselves as being a part of making Jacksonville what it needs to be. Great question.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell us or, like, explain to us?
Sure. I'm excited to tell you all that we are the first Blue Zones project. There are 75 other cities, and actually a few have added on recently, but we were the number 76 Blue Zone city in the United States. And I'm happy to say we were the first Blue Zone city to prioritize youth engagement And so it's been a joy for me to learn about organizations like the Performance Academy, like Youth Action Series, like JAMS, and to see you young people, diving into the things you all enjoy and really seeing how you can develop that into a career. If nothing else, it's something you all can develop the skills to do as you become adults. And so for me, it's giving me a chance to go outside of the school and see you all in the community in a powerful way. And so for me, we want to definitely continue this conversation with you all and with the Performance Academy, because we realize, hey, the more we get you all engaged into our civic reality and growing Jacksonville, the more we'll create leaders who can become change makers beyond now. So looking forward to this partnership and looking forward to learning more about what you all are doing through TPA.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, and thank you, Serenity. I appreciate you as well.
You're welcome.
I did growing up. Now, growing up as a kid, my all-time favorite was the Thundercats. That was my all-time. Thundercats was my all-time favorite. Yeah, literally. I have a Thundercats shirt at home that I love to death. Yeah, just search it, you'll see it. It's pretty neat. Yeah.